talk to me about long form content versus short form, and we can fold into that conversation volume versus quality / depth of content as well.
I think a lot to talk about there. Yes, to your first question, they both work. People watch a 3-hour movie if they love it, or a 45-minute vlog. I did very well with Daily Bee. They were long. And people will watch 7-second videos that crush, and people will not watch 7-second videos because they're garbage, and people will definitely not watch 25-minute videos if they're garbage. So that goes back to self-awareness. Like, are you capable of doing a vlog or a blog, or a great video series, or are you not? Same with short form. Quantity, quality. Quantity is not debatable. You either make 97 pieces of content in a month or you don't. Quality is completely subjective. Either this person's attractive, funny, insightful, or not. I'm very high on that. However, I do think that I think I didn't do a good enough job contextualizing when I would always, I've been screaming on social for 7 years, volume, 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 volume. The reality is it's a quality quantity ratio. Volume if you're capable, if you have a lot to say, if you have a lot of jokes, if you have a lot of good looks, if you have a lot of techniques, if you have shit to say, go, different ways, edits, different, If you don't, of course not. This goes back to earlier why I'm obsessed with passion or expertise. You're dead if you're not doing passion or expertise. You just won't have enough juice. There's not enough fuel in it. Passion will take you forever, which is why I like that actually more. But expertise, especially if you don't hate it. I always get worried about expertise because a lot of people's thing that they know because it's their profession, they don't like. And I do think that fuel will run out as well. But to answer your question one more time, to recap for everybody, both long and short form work and don't work. It's based on how good are you. I think quantity matters. In the future AI world, you're going to get drowned out by the quantity of content if you're not committed to quantity. But yes, of course, it's predicated on the quality of that quantity. I just think you should have more at-bats. Many of the posts I put out, with all this 20 years of expertise and writing the book and being that guy, I miss all the time. But I love that feeling. Like, I'm trying to learn. I saw somebody the other day in a piece of content making fun of me and my team for doing all sorts of different shit. And I was laughing because I'm like, no, that's the game. The point I think he was trying to make is like, he's lost his way. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's just throwing. We're not throwing against a wall to see what sticks. We're exploring different features and things to try to learn what's next. And I have the humility for it to not do well. Do you know that the reason most people suck at social media is they're scared to not get as many views as their little fragile ego needs to go through the day? I don't give a I'm streaming on Twitch on mute in my office. 83 people are watching. I don't give a That doesn't take away from everything I'm doing.
Do you not think that there's a degree of optics? Like, people naturally use popularity as a proxy for quality?
Of course.
So to a degree, if you're consistently posting in a way that isn't getting, not saying that this is what you're doing, but if you're consistently posting in a way and it's like 83 likes, 9 likes, like, that says something to your audience about, when you look at YouTube and you see thumbnail, you see title, you see the name of the creator, you see how long it is, like, those are important metrics. But when you go on, you see how many people have viewed that video.
It depends on if you're trading for popularity, sure, or the perception of popularity, sure. Depends on what you're trading on. For me, if 80 people are watching me on Twitch while I'm on mute all day, and there's really no reason to watch it, but I'm just experimenting, if someone then decides like Gary Vee fell off or sucks, that person is incredibly not smart. I'm not super worried about losing players.
Yeah, that's an interesting way. I think a lot about the time of cultivating the audience that you want, and being very careful about the sort of people that you attract.
Of course.
You can throw red meat and you can do the audience capture thing and you can be predictable. There's something
I could get 100 million views tomorrow if I decide to go crazy on something I don't believe on that will goad the entire audience into watching. Who the wants that? Like, it depends on what you're playing for. Too many people are trying to win with losing players, and too many people are not trying to win with winning players. One of the things I tell a lot of kids that fake the funk when they pitch me businesses, I see you're gathering your thoughts because I want you to hear this. I think you really like this. No. I totally get it. One of my favorite meetings to have is a kid that comes in that's got it. You know, the juice. But I'm like listening. I love listening to a pitch. And I realized that she or he just pitched me and it would work on 99%, but not the 1%. And what I mean by that is I'll go into something specific they go where I know they're embellishing, and I'll go very narrow. If it's a place I'm comfortable, I know what I'm talking about. And I know a lot about a lot of stuff. This is why I started VaynerMedia. The main reason I started VaynerMedia was to know as many different things about as many different businesses as possible and build the biggest marketing communications company in the world that I could deploy against my other behaviors when I got older. For me, it's always been about 60 to 70. Like, that's when I'm gonna strike like a cobra. This right now is just foreplay. This is just a setup. This is the jab. Anyway, when I'm in a meeting like that, I had this happen the other day with a kid, and I went deep, and I was like, and I could see the kid was a little bit like, because I was like calling him out, and he, by the way, he crushed it. Like, I'm like, this kid's gonna win. You know, that charisma, that salesmanship, and there was a lot of good stuff, but he was full of shit on like 3 or 4 things, but it was complicated to know it. But it just happened to be in a space that I knew enough to be able to go there. He really took it well, which was what I wanted to see. Which gave me even more confidence that he's just 24 and he's gonna get there. And then I said something to him that I say a lot of shit and I'm into this shit, but I like those moments where I'm like, I think this person just internalized this and it's gonna be like a thing. And I can't wait for them to dominate, and I'm gonna be old and they're gonna be like, Gary Vee once said to me 30, I like that stuff. And I like it for him. I said, brother, you're gonna win with 99% of losing players. The problem is you do that pitch again to the 1% winners, you're gonna lose with all of them, and they're the only people that matter. And that recaps what we just talked about. So yes, do I think perception is reality? Yes, I do. Do I think brand matters over everything? I sure do. But I think that if the biggest issue with the world right now is people want to take everything out of context, have no concept of, we've eliminated intent. People are trying to cancel everybody. Cancel culture was a disaster because it tried to cancel people without understanding their intent. If somebody is a beautiful person, they just didn't know the proper slang or didn't know, and they just had no ill will, trying to get them fired for. Yeah. Similar to somebody seeing a video of like Mr. Beast on a post on Snap only have 80,000 views and be like, oh, he fell. That's not smart. That's not understanding what people, and by the way, back to your journey and his journey and the journey that I had with Empathy Wines and kind of knew CPG was next and why I talked about it forever and why I built VaynerMedia to be in CPG. A lot of creators are going to care less about how many maximizing views. They're going to care about views that translate into CPG sales, or hours allocated to meetings in Bentonville, or hours allocated to being on TikTok Live. Like, shit's going to change. Shit changes. But the lack of courage and curiosity of the A-list to try new shit because they're worried about what we just talked about is why a lot of those people are going to end up in the B-list.